Yes. Yes. Welcome back to another edition of Go Long Live. I am Barry Long the second, not the first, not the third, but I am the second. And we are live on CoachellaValley.com. We are live on today's California.com. We are live on today's Canada.com. We are all over Twitter. And yes, I have a Big Bear hat. We are in Coachella Valley in the Palm Springs area. Big Bear Mountain is not too far from us. Like, that's why people love California, Southern California, because you can go to the beach, you can go to the desert, and you can go to the snow-capped mountains and ski all within like an hour and a half. So, yeah, I've been up to Big Bear recently. Just love living in this area. And today is Fed Up Friday. So whatever you're fed up with, let us know, because I'm fed up with a lot of stuff going on around sports. And, of course, we're going to have Mo Murphy join us here shortly. Sage Alvarez is going to be out today. He's dealing with some stuff. But let me just, without any further ado, let me bring in Mo Murphy because we missed him yesterday. How you doing, Mo?
Hey, I'm good, bro. You know, I wish I could have made it yesterday. Had a appointment, starting my physical therapy for my ankle. So, that's why I was out yesterday.
So what happened with your ankle?
I broke my ankle.
Oh, wow.
I broke my ankle a year ago, had a surgery. It never healed right. So I ended up having to get a second surgery recently. So hopefully that'll be the, get back 100%.
So you're like Humpty Dumpty. They trying to put you back together again.
Basically, yeah. If that's how you want to put it, then yeah.
Well, yeah, man. We saw some incredible things last night in sports. We saw the Dodgers avenge their couple losses to the Braves. So now the series is 3-2. The Dodgers won 11-2 behind Chris Taylor's 3 home runs, which is ridiculous. I mean, anytime somebody hits 3 home runs in Major League Baseball, he can expect to be tested by Major League Baseball the following day. So Chris Taylor is probably peed in the cup today. Yeah. But yeah, we got an exciting game tonight between the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. The Red Sox are going to be putting out Eovaldi, I believe. Let me check right now. They're gonna be putting out Eovaldi, who is on short rest, and the Astros are going to be putting out Luis Garcia. So that should be a great game. It's going to be played at 8 o'clock Eastern, so 5 o'clock on my time. And Mo Murphy, real quick, let them know where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Cheese15, or at Up in Flames Pod on Twitter, Instagram. You can also find me. You can listen to Up in Flames Sports Podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, things like that. And then you can also check me out on anywhere on offtheballnetwork.com. Do a lot of work over there too.
And you've been putting in work with us, man. We missed you yesterday because we were talking about the potential trade between the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans. The Houston Chronicle reported that they were very close to getting a deal done. And we know that the trade deadline is coming up on Tuesday. So if they're going to get a deal done, they better get it done before Tuesday. Yeah. So we both Sage and I gave our opinions on whether or not it was a good trade. What do you think?
Are
you done with Tua? Are you done with Tua? If you're the Miami Dolphins, because Brian Flores came out today and said that they're gonna stick with Tua, and they're like confident in him. If you're Brian Flores, your job's on the line.
Tua for Deshaun Watson. Like, if you're telling me I could get Deshaun, then yeah, I'm done with Tua. But there's only a handful of quarterbacks I'm not giving up on for Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, it's just tough because it's like you don't know what's going on with his civil cases. And, like, if they do make that trade, essentially, are they tanking? Because if Deshaun Watson gets put on the commissioner's exempt list, then you made that trade, you're rocking with Jacoby Brissett for the rest of the year.
Ooh.
And going for a top 5 pick, I think at this point, I mean, just be one of the worst teams, come back with a Deshaun Watson, hopefully eligible to play next year. And in a top pick, they still have a lot of draft capital. So if they went that route, they wouldn't be that bad off. With as good as that defense is, with the weapons they have at offense, if you add Deshaun Watson to that, that's a real playoff. Not only a playoff team, but an AFC Championship contender. But it just depends because you really don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. One would assume that he's going to be eligible to play at some point. Maybe not this season, but at some point, probably starting, in the offseason next year, if you're willing to trade for him, something that we don't. It's been very quiet now. Obviously, football has started. Deshaun Watson hasn't been playing, so people's focus hasn't been there. But, I mean, it's just, I give up on Tua for Deshaun Watson, yes. Like,
Absolutely.
I take Deshaun Watson over a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. So it's not necessarily that, I'm not down talking Tua by saying I take Deshaun over Tua.
But do you think Tua is done? Do you think he's like not gonna live up to his potential that we thought he was coming out of college?
Nah, it's too early. Like, this is his second year. Last year was a whole, like, throw the whole year away. He was coming off an injury. It was COVID. Like, it was like a throwaway year for a lot of teams as far as like guys who had rookie quarterbacks having to figure it out. Like, it was tough with no real training camp. I mean, look at how long it took the Bucks with Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, to get acclimated to each other. Like, the Bucks, the first half of the season, slow, losing games, like, oh man, and then they took off the second half of the season. Defense was outstanding. Tom Brady, now I get it too, is no Tom Brady, but what I'm saying is, like, last year, it was tough for a rookie quarterback to get acclimated, especially when you had Ryan Fitzpatrick on his back. Like, at the end, once he took the starting job, like, any kind of mess up, people love Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's just a fan favorite. So they were quick to pull him, and he wasn't ready. So it's just tough, like, in year two, 6 games through year 2, give up on Tua already. Like, do I think he's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time? No, but give up on him in year 2, like 6 games through year 2. That's what's wrong with the NFL and the fan base and teams already, is if you don't pop in a year, give up on to the next.
And I think some of his development was kind of hindered by Ryan Fitzpatrick being there, because they're like, oh, we have a security blanket in Ryan Fitzpatrick, so we don't have to really start Tua right now. Mm-hmm. And because he missed those first couple games, those first few games, I feel like we would have had more of a sample size to evaluate him. So I feel like that kind of hampered him. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of too early to give up on Tua. But if it's Deshaun Watson, like,
exactly,
you said there's only 5 teams. That you're probably right, because if I'm Baltimore, I'm not going to give up Lamar Jackson for Deshaun Watson. If I'm Kansas City, I'm damn sure not giving up Pat Mahomes. If I'm the Chargers, I'm not giving up Justin Herbert. There's a couple of other teams like Josh Allen, the Bills,
the Cowboys. Like, I'm keeping Dak. But other than that, like, I mean, you got your Brady and Rodgers. We know that, but they're aging. So you would even think, like, you're not going to give up on Brady for no Deshaun Watson, but you'll be like, man, that'd be a lovely quarterback to have over the next 10 years if I didn't have the GOAT. So, I mean, you got your top quarterbacks in the game right now. But other than that, I mean, you taking Deshaun outside of probably the top 8 to 10. And that's because some of these guys are veterans, Stafford, Rodgers, Brady. Other than that, you taking Deshaun over any of them. If he was playing right now, he'd be a top 10 quarterback.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you taking Deshaun Watson over Trevor Lawrence right now?
Yeah.
He said that without hesitation.
Because I know what Deshaun Watson is. I know Trevor Lawrence is promising. He was this great prospect, and he's playing fairly well for a rookie. But I know, like, Deshaun Watson has the experience. I know exactly what he is, and I still think he's a little more dynamic and a little bit tougher. Like, even I think if Trevor Lawrence reaches his peak, I think just that athleticism of Deshaun, the toughness he has, the playmaking ability when all falls loose, and he only had DeAndre Hopkins, always had a bad offensive line. Like, he's made something out of nothing all the time. So, like, he's proved that, yeah, I'd take him over Trevor Lawrence right now. If you think he's going to be Peyton Manning 15 years from now, then that's on you. But right now, today, I'm taking Deshaun Watson.
Okay, so if you're the owner of the Miami Dolphins right now, okay, and let's say that Deshaun Watson, let's say you guys make the trade for Deshaun Watson, okay, and let's say that he comes to the team, but he's ineligible to play until next season. Now, if you're the owner, do you fire Brian Flores if you guys finish up like 2-15, 3-14, and do you just hold out for the opportunity to see what those two can do together, or do you say, you know what, let's get rid of Brian Flores, let's get a new coach in here, an offensive-minded head coach that's kind of been a play caller in the NFL, somebody that knows how to use them?
It's tough because, like, Miami was supposed to be really good this year. They were 10-6, just missed the playoffs last year, but they were 10-6. We had high expectations, but, like, it's not always the coach's fault when players underperform. Like, Xavier Howard did all that crying about wanting this money, and now he out there getting burnt. Like, he deserves to get paid, not to get burnt. Like the 30th best corner. Byron Jones got all that money, and he out there getting burnt. Like, that's not Brian Flores' fault. Yes, you scheme. Yes, you do. But when you have Xavier Howard, who you put on an island, hey, he plays man-to-man and guards the best receiver. It's not Brian Flores' fault that he out there getting burnt. Then all the injuries. I mean, Devontae Parker, has been hurt. Will Fuller has been hurt. Really only played, one game since coming to Miami because he was suspended. Then he got hurt right immediately. Devontae Parker's been hurt. Preston Williams been hurt. The running backs are in and out of the lineup. They almost have every excuse to give Brian Flores at least one more year, especially if you get a Deshaun Watson, because I can't say Brian Flores is just a bad coach. Like he slowly but surely with all that draft capital turned, but there is something to say about that front office because their draft picks aren't hitting like they should have. With all them first and second round picks they've had over the past couple of years, they still should be a lot more talented than even what they are now, but their draft picks haven't hit the way they were supposed to.
So does Deshaun Watson make them a Super Bowl contender? If he's able to play this season?
No. They're too far gone for that. They're 1-5.
They're 1-5.
Like you talking about if you make the trade right now, you're playing this Sunday. If the trade happened today, right now, you're playing this Sunday without Tua. Then so you don't have Tua or Deshaun. You're rocking with Jacoby Brissett. Then you may not have Deshaun Watson even next week. Like even if he's eligible to play, like you might be 1-7, hoping.
And I'm pretty sure some of those massages went down in Miami.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you put Deshaun, if he gets traded, he's not playing this Sunday and he may not play next Sunday. Even if he doesn't go on the exemption list and is going to be able to play this year, that's like 2 weeks. That's possibility that when Deshaun is eligible to play for the Miami Dolphins, they are 1-7. That is a tough. No team with 7 losses are you going to say is a Super Bowl contender, let alone being 1-7. What are you banking on Deshaun Watson to not lose a game? Because that's the pressure. He's going to play Buffalo. He's going to play New England. You're banking on him on a new team, to not lose a game. That's tough. If there was somebody who I think could do it, I think it'd be Deshaun Watson. But that's tough. That's a tough ask for anybody. Even if Tom Brady, like that's just a tough ask for anybody in the history of the game to be 1-7 and say, "Hey, get us to the playoffs this year."
Exactly, especially in that division and especially in that city because there's a lot of temptations in Miami.
He'd have to stay.
Only LeBron has gone to Miami and not been distracted and just balled out. Maybe Jimmy Butler, but across all sports, Miami is one of those cities. But so we are Go Long Live. I am Barry Long II. This is Mo Murphy, and Sage Alvarez is not going to join us today. He's out today. But we're talking right now about the potential trade between the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans. And if I'm the Dolphins, I do it right now. I'm done with Tua. Like I'm just going to tell you straight up, I'm done with him. Like because not only has he not produced to the level of his expectations, but at the same time, he's very injury prone. So if you're looking at the injury situation, like I don't know if Tua is going to be our quarterback 5 years from now because of the injury situation. But I definitely know that Deshaun Watson he might not be top 5 quarterbacks in the league because that's a stretch in my opinion, but I would say he's top 10 for sure. He might be top 7. But yeah, and what is Tua? Where would you put him in the out of all 32 starting quarterbacks?
In the 20s.
22?
In the 20s. Somewhere. Yeah, I definitely put him somewhere in the 20s.
All right, so it's Fed Up Friday. I'm fed up with Tua. Like straight up. Like he might have a good game here, good little flash, but ultimately people are holding out for somebody who is not going to ever reach the potential that they expect. And that's my opinion. So I tell you straight like it is. All right, this is Go Long Live. Now let's talk about another little situation that we seen in the NFL last night. We saw the Browns defeat the Broncos. And those are 2 quarterback conundrums that we see on both sides because you got Teddy Bridgewater who's stepping in to be the starting quarterback, and he's hoping to be the quarterback for the next few years for the Broncos. But you've heard rumors that maybe they're going after Aaron Rodgers, maybe they're going after Deshaun Watson, which seems less likely now that Miami is so close to a deal. But Teddy Bridgewater has been struggling, and we thought that Case Keenum's going to step in. Cleveland is banged up. This is a perfect game for the Broncos to win, and they look like trash in my opinion. So, but Case Keenum stepped up and he made the plays when he needed to. So, let me ask you this, Mo Murphy: could the Browns make it to the playoffs and make noise in the playoffs with Case Keenum as their quarterback? Because Baker Mayfield is from what we're hearing, he's further away from returning than closer to returning. So with Case Keenum, can they make some noise? The Browns.
Yeah.
You think what?
Yes. Now here's yes, 100.
What's the caveat?
Look, all right. So I'm gonna put it like this. Look how they won yesterday, right? What's their formula of winning? Have a great running performance on the ground, running the ball, and then we'll play action. We'll spread the field a little bit off of that, right? They had their fourth string running back, Ernest Johnson. Like they said, he was coming off of fishing, and he has over 100 some yards, over like 5 yards.
Damn good to be fishing,
bro. Exactly, and he comes off of 5 yards of carry. Case Keenum looked really good, but let's talk about the injuries, right? Let's talk about the injuries. All right, so no Baker, so we got Case Keenum. I'm fine with that. You got no Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt. You had no Jack Conklin, your starting left tackle, and you didn't have your starting right tackle. Okay, let's go there. Odell Beckham was playing banged up. Another injury. You could tell he was hampered by his injury. Jarvis Landry just came off of IR, so he's not 100%. He played to play to give his team a chance because that's what dogs do, but he still wasn't 100%, and that's okay. Respect to him for playing while hurt because he wasn't injured no more. He felt like he was hurt. It could play. So that's the injuries on the offensive side of the ball. JOK on the defensive side of the ball is out on IR. Their safety was out. Denzel Ward gets hurt early in the game, doesn't return, and they still win. Now, granted, Denver had a lot of injuries also, but we're talking about a team who won a game with their backup quarterback, with their fourth string running back. Both their starting wide receivers were hurt. Donovan Peoples-Jones, who would have taken place in production of Odell or Jarvis.
Which is one of the best last
play of the game
in sports, Peoples-Jones.
And he got hurt. He got hurt the first play of the game.
Yep.
Then so the whole receiving core was hurt. Your tight ends produced Austin Hooper and Njoku. That's where you were getting your receiving production from.
Yep.
And like I said, the offensive line was hurt. 3 of their starting offensive linemen, especially Jack Conklin, the most important offensive lineman, your left tackle, was injured. And they still pulled out the game. Okay, Denver's not a good team. That's perfectly fine. But Cleveland had every excuse to lose the game, and they still won. Why? Because they still are a good team. When they are all healthy, they are a really good team on the most talented rosters. The only question is at quarterback. And there's not much of a difference, if any difference at all, between Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum. So, yes, I think Baker Mayfield could make some noise in the AFC. So I think the same thing with Case Keenum because I think they're the same type of quarterback, which is a testament to Baker Mayfield when Cleveland has some decisions to have to pay Baker this year.
And I think it's also a testament to Case Keenum because Case Keenum is always just plugged in. And he even made a statement earlier this week, and he said that he's been through it all when it comes to being an NFL quarterback. He has had to introduce himself to linemen in the huddle of an NFL game. Like he's just plugged in, hasn't even met the team. And this guy has been all over the NFL. He's a journeyman quarterback. He is like literally the definition of a journeyman quarterback. If there's anybody else that's more of a journeyman, then it would be Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I think it's a testament to Case Keenum as well. But ultimately, I look at Kevin Stefanski, and just the culture has changed in Cleveland because Cleveland is one of those teams where, if anybody's hurt, then they're just going down. Josh Gordon's hurt this week, or he's out because of a suspension. Oh, we're just going to give up. Oh, Myles Garrett is out. Oh, we're just going to give up. But Cleveland is looking like a tough team, and that was a gritty win with a depleted roster last night, and I was impressed. I was very impressed. Yeah. This is Go Long Live with Barry Long II and Mo Murphy, and we got Sage Alvarez. He's out today, but shout out to Sage. He is definitely commenting. He's if you want to comment, make sure you comment on the feed, and we'll be able to pull you up. Right here, just like Sage Alvarez comment, talking about I always got the best hats. Yesterday, I had a Seinfeld hat on, Mo Murphy, and somebody asked me out at one of the events that I do. They were like, "Oh, the Seinfeld hat. What you know about Seinfeld, man? I used to watch Seinfeld, man. What y'all know about Cosmo Kramer?"
I never was a fan of Seinfeld, but a little bit younger.
Yeah, a little bit younger. How old are you? Tell everybody how old you are, because I want people to know.
I'm 26. I'm 26.
Okay, I'm 35. And you probably look like you probably look like about 21, 22.
I get that.
And how do I look 35?
Nah. You look like late 20s, early like 31 max. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm okay with people not thinking I'm 26. Like, you don't look 26. You look young. Me and my wife both, we walk in somewhere and they be looking at us like we some underage teenagers. And I'm like, no, I'm all good.
Like, when I go places like where, like when I go to games where my kids are playing, it always feels like an episode of Teen Mom, because you know how like the episode of Teen Mom, the parents that are being followed by the cameras are always the youngest ones. I'm always the youngest parent anywhere, but yeah, I mean 35. I got some skin in the game. But so let's talk about another situation before we get into the NFL games that you're looking to this weekend, because there's going to be some potential upsets. Let's talk about college real quick. College football. Now we've got some teams that have been upset this season. We've seen Alabama fall to Texas A&M. Now they're number 4 on the AP Top 25. Georgia rests alone at number 1. You got Cincy, who's been making a lot of noise. Cincinnati is looking really good. I fully expect them to stay competitive and probably be in that college football playoff. But you got a team like Michigan, who's number 6. They're 6-0. Okay, you got a team like Michigan State, who's 7-0. They're number 9. Oh, don't let me forget Oklahoma State. They're 6-0 at number 8. Which one of these 3 teams do you feel like it has a chance to make it to the college football playoff? Because one slip up, we already know. One slip up and they're done.
No, I'm not saying Michigan because they're not beating Ohio State once again. So I'm right. No. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm an Ohio State fan, and I'm not doing that. No.
You don't think Michigan is legit this year?
Not legit enough to beat Ohio State. Like, no. Like, Jim Harbaugh will continue is not winning the game against Ohio State. If I was to say,
and look, has he ever beaten Ohio State since he's been there?
No, he hasn't.
Not one time.
And
isn't that like one of the job qualifications of being the head coach of Michigan football?
I'm surprised he's not fired. Like, that's why I'm surprised he still has a job, because I think all the pressure's on him to beat Ohio State this year. That's just my opinion. I don't really care what goes on in Michigan Wolverine world and what they fans think, but
because you're an Ohio State fan.
Yeah, I think he needs to beat Ohio State, or else like all the fans are going to start calling for his job. Like, that's unacceptable. You can lose every game, but if you beat Ohio State, you had a successful season. Same with Ohio State. Like, the standard is always, if we're going to have a bad season, don't finish it off by losing to Michigan. Like, don't get smacked in the face on top of that. But if I would have to go with Oklahoma State. Now, I don't think Oklahoma State, when it comes down to it, and this will be the argument, I don't think they will be one of the 4 best teams in the country, which I think is kind of the BS argument about the college football playoffs anyway, and why we'll let one-loss teams in that shouldn't be in over undefeated teams per se, because you're like, well, they are better than that team. Well, you say that, but every team handled business, and to me, that's the most important thing. But Oklahoma State, on their resume, has played Baylor when Baylor was ranked, has played Texas when Texas was ranked, and they still have the battle, the showdown against Oklahoma to end the season. They could potentially, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State could go into that game undefeated. Both teams go undefeated and play each other twice. Like, they potentially could play each other twice. And Oklahoma State would have an opportunity to play Oklahoma and beat them in back-to-back weeks. And Oklahoma looks damn good now that Spencer Rattler's gone. So they would have an opportunity to beat Oklahoma and then beat them again in the Big 12 championship. And then what do you say? If Oklahoma State is undefeated, has played 3 ranked teams, one of which was a top 5 team that they played twice back-to-back, what do you say when they're undefeated? Like, no, they don't deserve to be in there because they're still not one of the 4 best teams. Ohio State's coming in there as a 1-loss Big Ten champ. They look a lot better. Bama's coming in as a 1-loss SEC champ. Maybe, and that'll be under the assumption that they beat Georgia in the SEC. So now Georgia has 1 loss, but it was to Bama, so it's got to be better. Then you'd be like, well, Oregon has beat Ohio State, which was probably any better win than Oklahoma State when they beat Oklahoma because they had their quarterback. Like, there'll be so many excuses for Oklahoma State if they come in undefeated not to be in. But at the end of the day, an undefeated Big 12 champ should be in, or you're setting a precedent that you've already set anyway, that you don't really care what the Big 12 and what the Pac-12 does. But if an undefeated Big 12 team like Oklahoma State doesn't go into the playoffs, to me, that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
Now, let me ask you this, because it's Fed Up Friday. This is Go Long Live. I am Barry Long II. This is Mo Murphy. Sage Alvarez will be with us Monday. Now, let me ask you this, because it's Fed Up Friday. I'm fed up with teams that go undefeated. I don't care what conference you're in. I'm fed up with teams like Wake Forest, who are 6-0 in the ACC. You got Coastal Carolina, who's 6-0 in the Sun Belt. I know it's the Sun Belt. But you got teams like this, San Diego State in the Mountain West, 6-0. If they run the table and they go undefeated, do you think that these teams should be in the top 4, should be in the college football playoff?
No. Like, now Wake Forest is different because they would be the undefeated ACC champ.
ACC with the
so that would be that. Now that's different. And what ruins it is what I'm fed up with. Fed Up Friday. Shout out to Fed Up Friday. But what I'm fed up with, preseason rankings, because You rank these guys 1 through 25 and who's right outside on the 25 prior to a game being played, and that becomes the problem. Had Wake Forest started out ranked number 16 and they're undefeated up to this point, they're like number 8. But because they became unranked and then the downfall of Clemson happened, Wake Forest is ranked, like 16 or something as an undefeated team. That's the problem, is because preseason rankings tells us how good these guys are prior to even playing a game. So preseason told us that Clemson was the second best team in the country at the time. They hadn't even played a game. We didn't see their offense crash and burn. I don't think rankings should happen until like the first 3 weeks. At least a week, like at least let every team get out there and get on the field and show us what they're made of. Then we started ranking, because now, because of Wake Forest, and the same thing with Oklahoma State, both of those teams started off unranked. So now they're battling in the trenches to move up, keep winning games and move up. But it's like, essentially, who's to say that Wake Forest wasn't the 12th best team to start the season? Like, the evidence is there that they were. So who's to say that they weren't? But you give love to Florida, who crashes and burns. You give love to LSU, who injuries have plagued LSU. You give love to the SEC and the Big Ten and all these schools, and it's like they haven't even played a game yet. Now you see the Big Ten got it out the mud. They got 4 teams in the top 10? Iowa at number 11, so they got 5 teams in the top 11. But like, that's because it's the respect of the Big Ten. It's the respect of the SEC. But like, Clemson gets respect in the ACC, nobody else. Miami started off, they've crashed and burned. So I'm tired of them telling us how good these guys are prior to playing a game off of projections and recruiting classes. And then teams like Wake Forest have to get it so far out the mud. Them and Oklahoma State could be undefeated ACC and Big 12 champs and still probably not get in, because it's not sexy to have Wake Forest in the top 4. It's not sexy to have Oklahoma State, but it is to have Clemson and Alabama and Ohio State and maybe Oregon. We'll allow Oregon, Oklahoma, Georgia. Those are the schools that you want in. So I am tired of being told how good teams are prior to even playing a game. Because Miami's going to stay one of the best teams.
College football feels a lot like boxing. Like, once you lose, it's over. Like you have no chance to be a champion, and it's crazy. I'm fed up with that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if we're going to expand the college football playoff, then I don't think we should go from 4 to 6 or 4 to 8. Let's have a drastic change. Let's go to 16 teams. Let's make this thing very interesting.
That's too much.
All right. Well, we don't have enough time. We can do 12. We can agree on 12. We can agree on 12. I'm a fan of 16 though. All right, but look, so we only got a couple minutes left. Mo Murphy. This is Go Long Live. I am Barry Long II. That's Mo Murphy. So NFL schedules happening this weekend. I just want to pick out real quick a game that I am just want everybody to be on alert and watch for, and that is between the Bengals and my Ravens. I'm a homer. I'm a Ravens fan. But I've been watching the Bengals, and I love what they do defensively. They always come with that smoke. They come with that heat. But I love a Joe Mixon, and I love a Jamar Chase with the chemistry that he's got with Joe Burrow. And even though Joe Burrow is still not fully healthy off of that throat contusion, I think that this is a game where the Ravens need to be on alert. And if the Ravens win, of course I'm picking the Ravens. But if the Ravens win this game, then there is no way in hell that anybody should be talking about anybody is better than them in the AFC than the Ravens, because the Ravens are coming out there, and you saw what we did to the Chargers last week. So the game that I'm looking to watch is this weekend is the Bengals and the Ravens. What game are you watching, and why?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs and Titans. To me, the game of the week is Bengals and Ravens, though. That's the game of the week. I think there's a lot could be proven in that matchup. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs and Titans. First off, there is star power on the offensive side of the ball on both teams. We are literally about to watch cheat codes play football. Derrick Henry is about to run through the Chiefs defense. AJ Brown is gonna, he's gonna kill their secondary, and then hopefully Julio's healthy and kills their secondary, and then we're gonna give the Chiefs the ball, and we're gonna let Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill go crazy. I expect this game to be a shootout. I don't care. Derrick Henry's gonna get the job done, but he scores so fast. He can give you a 70-yard run. He's sizable. Nobody wants to tackle him. This is an amazing game of two teams with bad defenses and really good offenses. Like, these are bad defenses and really good offenses. This shapes up for a shootout, one of the more exciting games, right along with the Bengals and the Ravens. And I think the Bengals-Ravens is the most key matchup that everybody's watching. Lamar, Joe Burrow, but this got a lot of star power on the offensive side of the ball with the Titans and the Chiefs. And I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Fantasy football managers, if you got A.J. Brown or Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, obviously Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? I even put Ryan Tannehill as my quarterback this week. That's how much damage I expect to be done on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, I do.
Now, let me ask you real quick because we only have a couple minutes. Is Derrick Henry the best running back of all time? Just bold statement. Because we didn't see Jim Brown. We're too young, obviously, for Jim Brown. We didn't see O.J. Simpson. I saw Eric Dickerson. And a lot of people, get mad about O.J. But the reason why the story was so powerful and it was so media consuming was because he was such a great running back. If you go back and look at O.J. Simpson's his highlights, I mean, man, he wasn't a good person, but he was a good running back. But yeah, I would go out and say right now that Derrick Henry is top 2 of my generation because I saw Barry Sanders.
I'm gonna let you ride that limb by yourself, bro. No, I'm gonna let you. You're riding that by yourself. No.
Hey, Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. He is like
not yet. I hear you that it's possible, but
who wants to tackle Derrick Henry?
That's fine. I mean, he is a big. Like I said, it is possible that he goes down as the greatest running back of all time when his career is all said and done and he has a full career. But guess what? You saw Barry Sanders, right? I didn't even get to see much of Barry Sanders. So he's nowhere near LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian was good, but most of his memorable runs were from the 1 yard line, from the 2 yard line. Adrian Peterson was dominant, but
all day, bro. Adrian Peterson did it for a longer clip. Like Derrick Henry to me hasn't done enough.
Adrian Peterson came back from a torn ACL in 6 weeks.
Adrian ran 1,000 yards.
Adrian Cheaterson.
No. Can Derrick?
I don't know if it was deer antler spray. I don't know if it was PEDs.
Derrick Henry could be, but bro, Adrian Peterson, his AP, we didn't even call him AP. We called him AD. Do you know what AD stood for? All day.
I know.
You had to deal with Adrian Peterson running the ball all over you all day long. I can't get to Derrick Henry yet. But I can't say that it's not possible. But
and let me say this about Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson, remember when he beat his son he was on TMZ. He beat his son to a pulp. So this is just my nickname. Just being funny real quick. It's not Adrian Peterson. It's Adrian beat his son.
Oh my.
Hey, if y'all fed up with that, hashtag it. This is Go Long Live. Enjoy the football that's this weekend. We got college football on the schedule. We got NFL games that are going to be highly publicized and highly watched, and we got the Dodgers on tomorrow. We got the Red Sox Astros tonight, and y'all just enjoy this weekend. And Mo Murphy, tell them where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, you can find me at Upper Flames Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter, Instagram. And you can listen to Upper Flames Sports Podcast wherever you get your podcast. And obviously, thank y'all for everybody who listened. Continue listening Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m.
Noon 30.
Noon 30 Pacific time. A little different for me because I'm over here in Texas on Texas time. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all continue to tune in, man. Me, Barry, and Sage plan on growing this show and putting on the show for y'all. So appreciate y'all for tuning in, engaging, and listening also.
Oh, and taking over the world. Shout out to my man Sean McNeil, my best friend. But look, hey, y'all enjoy sports this weekend. Stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired. Remember, you're capable of doing anything. So go out and do it. And we'll talk to y'all on Monday. Peace.